Welcome to this episode of Trojan Poetry. We're excited that it's episode 93. We're in season 3, episode 2, and we've come a long way. We've come a long, long way, and we've got lots more to come during season 3. So these poems, this set, John has picked, and I have not seen them yet. So let's get into it,
All right,
John.
so earlier in the series we did a Rilke poem, so we're going to do another Rainer Maria Rilke poem, and I've paired it with a poem by Mark Strand, who we've done several poems by Mark Strand, so I'll link to those as well. This is from this collection. It's called A Year with Rilke, and it is translated by, this translation is by Paula Modersohn-Becker. So this is called What You Cannot Hold. You who let yourselves feel, enter the breathing that is more than your own. Let it brush your cheeks as it divides and rejoins behind you. Blessed ones, whole ones, you where the heart begins. You are the bow that shoots the arrows, and you are the target. Fear not the pain. Let its weight fall back into the earth, for heavy are the mountains, heavy the seas. The trees you planted in childhood have grown too heavy. You cannot bring them along. Give yourselves to the air, to what you cannot hold. I'm not quite sure I understand all of that.
Right.
But there's something magical about Rilke, who I'm still discovering. And it's something just kind of, I like the flow of it, I like the immediate imagery of it, but I'm not going to say that I've got really a full grasp on that one.
Oh, sorry, I'm doing my quick reread here.
That's all right.
Right off the bat, when he said, or the narrator says, you who let yourselves feel, and throughout it's you, but the narrator doesn't necessarily include his or herself as one of those who feel. So from the beginning, I was almost getting the feeling. You see what I did there?
I did, yes. I heard it.
That the narrator is watching those who can feel, and it's almost like the narrator is trying to soothe these people who feel almost too much, right? They're almost too much with the world.
Right.
And yet the narrator, him or herself, I don't necessarily get the feeling that they are the same as the people that they're talking to, right? Which is, I don't know, for some reason that first line really stood out to me. But also when it gets to the end, heavy are the mountains, heavy the seas, too heavy, you cannot bring them along. Give yourselves to the air, to what you cannot hold. So it's that feeling of you can't take it with you, almost. And I'm not sure if where they're going, you cannot bring them along. Is that death? Is it something else? What did you see there?
I don't know. I just really like that last couple lines. You cannot bring them along. Give yourselves to the air, to what you cannot hold. It's like I just imagine like a tree, the leaves just shaking. And the leaves aren't trying to hold on to anything. They're just kind of free in the wind to kind of, that's how I kind of imagined it.
Right.
But just the whole idea of like you're feeling too much, right? If you're burdened for whatever reason, right? Like the trees you planted in childhood, right? Like you need to let go of things that are burdening you, right? And somehow you need to be whole, but you are whole, right? So again, I agree with you. The narrator seems to be trying to console or bring comfort to these people who feel too much, right? He says, fear not the pain, let its weight fall back into the earth. And I really like that idea of somehow feelings or pain going back into the earth, right? Like we raise it up and we need to just like let it fall.
Release it, everything changes.
Right.
And I, as you said that, I looked at that first stanza again. Enter the breathing that is more than your own. Let it brush your cheeks. And then again at the end, give yourselves to the air. And it almost, as it divides and rejoins behind you, that's so cool. I figure a picture. This is almost like, I don't know, I get like a sense that God is speaking to humanity or a father figure, because the breathing that is more than your own is the air that's all around us, right?
Something bigger.
Right, as we breathe, we contribute to it. And that's so cool, that idea as you're walking along, all the little air molecules are dividing and rejoining behind you. And then in the second stanza, you are the bow that shoots the arrows and you are the target. And that brought a kind of a Buddhist idea of interbeing, how everything is connected. And so you're shooting the arrow at yourself at the same time, which is, you know,
pretty
paradox, and it's
Yeah.
a really cool image as well.
And it is that last image of giving yourself to the air, to what you cannot hold, right? You've just got to let go.
Yeah, you
Right?
just
You
accept.
can't be in control. And that reminded me of a poem by Mark Strand from 1979 called Keeping Things Whole. So here it is. In a field, I am the absence of field. This is always the case. Wherever I am what is missing. When I walk, I part the air, and always the air moves in to fill the spaces where my body's been. We all have reasons for moving. I move to keep things whole.
Well, I can see why you thought of this. As you're, I mean, that's
Yeah.
that second stanza. Once again, when I walk, I part the air, and always the air moves in to fill the spaces where my body's been. It's like when you see those when they're testing cars, and they shoot you
Right.
can see the air flowing over the top of the car. And maybe that's the reason for the last line, I move to keep things whole. So maybe he feels like if he keeps moving, he can contribute somehow to keeping his surroundings together. You know, he's not cutting through anything or breaking anything up. He's keeping it whole. And
But
then
isn't that kind of sad? Like, because he is part of the whole, right? I mean, Mark Strand is such a puzzle to me, and I just love it. But he's saying, I am what is missing, right? Like, I move so that other things can be whole, as if he's not part of the whole. Like, there's an alienation or some kind of disconnection, right? Which seems to me kind of sad or...
and that's part of a lot of his work,
Yeah.
is that feeling of being isolated and kind of observing from a
Right.
distance. Yeah, wherever I am what is missing. I am the absence of field. So, so by his presence, he's
not what everything
affirming-
else is.
Yeah, he's affirming everything else more by standing there. But then what is he?
Right.
I mean, like,
That's the question.
you know, that's kind of sad and disturbing to
Right.
think of yourself as a non-entity almost.
Well, or something that
But
is
he
intrusive,
is.
right? I am
Yes.
an intrusion. I have to get out so that this other thing can
It can be
go back to
whole.
being a field.
Right.
Right. When I'm in a field, it's no longer just a field. I need to get out so that it can be a field.
Yeah.
Right.
What a horrible way to go through life.
Right. And is that? I mean, have I talked you into agreeing that is?
Well, no, I think that I think I move to keep things whole. I get the sense that he feels like he does feel unsettled. He feels like he doesn't necessarily have a home. He can't sit still for whatever reason. But I do think that he doesn't feel like he fits in anywhere.
Right. And I like how he says that we all have reasons for moving. Like, other people might move for different reasons, but this is my kind
Yeah.
of right. And again, that's another maybe distant or another disconnect.
Right.
Right. Like, we all have different reasons, and mine is because I feel like I don't connect,
Yeah.
even with people I'm talking to in this poem.
Yeah, which is
Right.
ironic. I mean,
Does he feel too much? Would Rilke say he feels too much and he just needs to let go and be the feel? Like,
I think that's a great answer, because this narrator is thinking too is thinking too much or feeling too much. I mean, if literally you're worried about dividing the air as you walk through it, and that causes you anxiety,
Right.
I think you're feeling more than most people would feel. You know, I think
Right.
you're the intensity of your emotions are stronger than most.
so if these two poems could talk to each other, right? I mean, that's interesting to think about,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
because Rilke was, a good at least 80 to 100 years, right, before Mark Strand, and this more sense of alienation with the, the kind of post-war and all of the stuff going on in the 70s and everything. So, I don't know. I thought those were two interesting poems.
Yeah, well, it's as if Strand missed the speech in the Rilke poem. You know what I mean? Like he didn't get the memo that you don't have to necessarily behave like that. Just accept, let it go. Right? You don't have to live with that level of intensity all the time. Maybe.
Or could it be kind of beautiful that the narrator of the Strand poem is like, you know what? I value a field and I want to keep a field to field. Like, I don't want to intrude. You know what I mean? Is it all negative, or is it more positive that,
Yeah.
even when I walk through the air, it rejoins itself. And when I leave a field, it's back to being a field. And maybe respecting the integrity of other things is a form of, well, respect.
Yeah, right, of movement.
Yeah, I
That's
mean-
the purpose for his movement, right?
Yeah, but still there is then the disconnect.
Yeah.
Which seems to me
He's
double.
not of any of those things.
Right.
He's different.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, 2 mysterious poems. Thanks for watching. Join us again right here on Trojan Poetry, and check out our Twitter at Trojan Poetry DGN and our website, trojanpoetrydgn.blogspot.com, and our soon-to-be Facebook page.